Heyo, it's Omnidog here, and I have some special guests with me today from the Comic Book Report. I have Dom. How's it going, buddy?
Going good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And our friend Day Day from Omni Nation Comics. How are you doing, D2?
Hey, Omnidog, Uncle Jess. Glad to be back here.
Good to have you. So we were sort of talking, the three of us, just sort of behind the scenes. And it turned out that all three of us really loved a big majority of the New 52. And New 52, I think, is around 13 or 14 years old at this point, and they're now starting to DC's now starting to pump out omnis of that era. And we thought we would just talk a little bit about why we love that era so much and the books we love about that era. So did I say that about right? Oh, we're also here because these guys are nice guys. I'm not, but these guys are. I'm a jerk, but
oh no, don't you do that to yourself.
Okay, so in the green room, sort of, we Day Day was getting excited, and we were all sort of excited because we started to remember what it was like when New 52 started, 2011 or 2012.
I think it was 11. I think it was 11.
Okay. And what do you guys remember about it? As you 13 years ago, 14 years ago, you guys were youngsters.
I was in high school.
I was in college. Yeah.
I was in high school. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dom.
No, you go first, Day.
Oh no, I was gonna say no. I was in high school, and I remember okay, Flashpoint. I know that technically that starts it, but I remember that was coming out. That was huge, and we were all going crazy. And once that was done, and then I started seeing posters everywhere, even at the library at my school, public library, North Las Vegas Library, even at the comic shop, everywhere. New 52 was advertised so hard. We were all so excited. Of course, me being spoiled from trades, I was waiting on trades, but it was so exciting. I just remember being excited. Then reading some of the titles, I was like, and I was barely getting back into comics because, we all take a break every once in a while. Women, video games, all kind of things. But, well, some people take a break. I do. But that was during that time. But once I got back into comics, I never got out. New 52 brought me back.
Yeah, I would say that was the same for me. I was I had been out of college for 30 years, so at that point, but it got me back into collecting single issues again. I collected every single issue of Flashpoint, even that ridiculous Canterbury Cricket book, and that was one of the things I had made into custom bound books, because I said, what am I going to do with this long box of comics? Does somebody going to really want them? And so I had them made into custom Flashpoint books. But there was some gold in that Flashpoint event, as I was telling Dom before. That's where Azzarello's Night of Vengeance is, where it's a different Earth's dark night, so to speak, and his wife and stuff. So, and I still think that's Azzarello's most engaging, easiest to understand, and best work. And that was in Flashpoint. So I really dug that. And we have plenty of books that we're going to talk about. But what are your memories of that time period, Dom?
Yeah, so for me, I was right around sophomore, junior in college. And at the time I was going to college in San Luis Obispo area in California, so Central California coast. And I remember I kind of grew up comic book adjacent. I was watching like the 2000s eras comic book movies, so like Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. I remember like, going later into 2000s, Dark Knight. My dad used to collect comics, so they were always kind of around. But it wasn't until college that I really started reading for myself. Like in high school, I think I read like Watchmen and some of the like biggies. But it wasn't until college that I had a buddy that kind of got me into books. And I was going for collected editions because I couldn't justify like incomplete stories for a lot of the modern comics and single issues. So when I heard about collected editions, I was like, oh yeah, this is for me. I had dabbled in like a lot of golden and silver age DC and those old DC Finest or Showcase Presents, DC Showcase Presents.
Showcase,
like,
yeah.
Black and white, like foam paper kind of board. I had a bunch of those that I bought used that I'd have to like glue back together. But I remember when I was starting to go to these local comic shops, I'd see like posters for New 52. And I remember the image like on the front of like, Jim Lee's art for Justice League. I remember being like a big poster. I remember thinking like, oh, this is so cool. They're making like an on-ramp for newer readers. And it just seemed like shiny, and like waiting for the collected editions. And then all of a sudden, between standard hardcovers and paperbacks, there was just all of a sudden one day, like on the shelves, a ton of releases. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try Batman. I'm going to try Teen Titans. I'm going to try. And it was just such a cool time as a newer fan myself to really just go like right in. And it absolutely hooked me on DC. I've always had a huge soft spot for this era, probably because of that. But even to this day, now reading for quite a bit longer than that, reading a lot more DC. There's still some gems in this era that I would still hold pound to pound as some of my favorite. So yeah,
nice. That's well said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know this era was known as the edgelord era, but it was still like because some people was like it's too edgy or it's too dark, or that's what I heard from some people. Because it was so different from people's original interpretation pre New 52. Well, when Rebirth came, that's when things went back to what pre New 52 looked like. But I'm like, no, there was still some, like Dom said, there were still some gems in this era that I actually enjoyed.
Gee, I'm surprised. I don't think I had ever heard that it was edgelordy.
Because Superman had more of an attitude in this era, right? You had there was a little bit more edge to it, a little bit more of an edged interpretation of it.
I could see that with Superman, particularly. I would say, yeah.
Batman was super dark too.
Which is Batman, but it was
but I felt like Scott Snyder really made the Joker super murdery. Like this was almost too much. He was, but it wasn't.
Insane.
It was.
Was it Tony S. Daniel that cut Joker's face off? I remember.
Issue.
Yeah.
No.
That was brilliantly drawn too. I ain't gonna lie.
Where his face is a mask, just like
yes.
Yeah.
That design still freaks me. I think it's the creepiest Joker design I've ever seen.
I loved it. Though.
It's the only action figure of Joker that I have because I like I like that so much. I was like, because it's got his face all stapled on or whatever, and it looks like he's wearing it as a mask. And I was like, yeah, I hate the Joker, but I dug this thing that he did to himself, so I'll get that action figure for Christmas. So so I got brought back into comics by as Dom said, Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns in like 85, 86. But I felt like I only read Vertigo for the 90s, and I don't really feel like I read a lot of DC. I didn't buy any collected editions, really. So the event of New 52 is what kind of got me into collecting all over again, and that's when I was getting them at Third Eye Comics in Annapolis. And like a couple of years later, I said, "Hey, what are some good Marvel books?" And Steve handed me Omnis of New X-Men, Astonishing X-Men, and Uncanny X-Force. And that
I
made
love
me,
that book.
yeah, that made me an X-Men fan. And I was like, okay. And then he's, got me the Omni of Iron Fist and all these classic,
those are
really
good.
classic Marvel books. And that's how I got into Marvel too. But I always kind of wished there will be slight spoilers in this, but when there are going to be big spoilers, I will put this ticker up that says spoilers. So this is just a mild spoiler about Flashpoint. They kept Kal-El in a cell of lead that was blocked from the sun. So he was like this weakling little 10-year-old.
He was a stick figure.
Yeah. And I always thought, I wish they didn't make him normal, like the normal Superman figure in Unwound Flashpoint. I wish they kind of left him like that to really start it off in a something I would have never read before, like a broken and sun-starved Kal-El.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. That's a great idea.
Gets placed by an adoption agency with Ma and Pa Kent, and instead of torching the world, they raise him to be a good guy. But you could see him, putting on weight and learning how to be a person and stuff.
That's such a great idea.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome, DC.
I forgot to write to DC about that in 2011.
Oh man, that should have been. Oh, that would have been great. Doggone it! Now I got it out of my mind.
So maybe they'll make it an imaginary story one day. But
yeah, that's true.
Would you like to talk about the books? We have a top 5, and some of them are overlap. So we'll show the books we have to show on our top 5s. But before we dive into that, would you like to talk about some of the books that are still great but didn't quite make it into our top 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do that.
Okay. I have a handful here, and you guys can just name off books that you like. So, Dom, would you like to start?
Sure. I know one of the early titles I read for New 52, and I think you have it, Jess, is I, Vampire.
Oh, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really do too much horror-based reading anymore, but certainly back in college, I read a lot of horror stuff. And I feel like New 52 has some like kind of darker corners. Maybe this serves the edgelord qualification here, but it has some like dark pockets that always surprised me. And this book, I knew nothing about other than the art looked just radical. Like I had not seen.
Oh, look at that! Yeah,
it was a trip. And so I picked it up, and I'm kind of a sucker for a good vampire story. And I thought that this was just really unique. I was like, what are vampires doing in the DC universe? Again, I was a newer reader, but I thought it was really cool. It was kind of like a contemporary dark fantasy. It has this kind of cinematic quality to it. And I remember just thinking it was pretty wild. I think the whole thing is collected across maybe 3 paperbacks.
Yeah.
I've never seen it collected in like a single edition. I'm not sure if DC ever will, but I thought that was kind of an underrated gem that I don't hear people talk about very much. Again, it has like a little bit of a darkness edgy to it, but if you're looking for a vampire story, I thought that was a pretty cool little like deeper pocket in the New 52. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's why I have all 3. But that's a solid choice for a great
Did that
book.
one get an omnibus, y'all?
I don't even know if we got like a hardcover complete edition.
Really?
I think it was just the 3 trades. They're out of print, but I don't think they sell for too much. I don't know that they're high in demand, but
okay.
It's a really good series.
Oh, okay.
And how about you, Day Day? Do you have a book that you like but wasn't quite ready for the top 5?
Okay, this one's don't punish me, Jess. This one is a this one is a guilty pleasure. But when I was getting back into this era, this comic excited me for comics again during this era. But I enjoyed the Deathstroke
Oh,
New 52.
Okay.
It
hey,
was so much fun.
this
I
is
know it's
your
not
thing.
I know it's not the essence of the character, but I love the concept of him being pushed back to his younger self and doing these basically versus battles throughout the whole run, trying to rescue his daughter or whatnot. But of course, yeah, it has its flaws, and of course, I love the art. Tony S. Daniel, Tyler Kirkham. It was just so much fun. Oh, let me show you. I'm over here just talking, but it was so much fun just to see the many battles that Slade goes through in this book. It was so much fun. It's like a
See,
melee kind of like
I,
comic book. It's like a
I
big
don't think
blockbuster.
I don't think you need to apologize for that because you keep saying it was so much fun, and that's really what we want.
Yeah,
we want fun comics to read.
absolutely. I feel like any kid that's like, you know, I don't care if it's teenager or even younger than that, they were like, "Oh my god, he's it's just fighting game." I don't know if y'all remember those fighting games like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee or Mortal Kombat or stuff like that. It felt like that. It was just seeing Deathstroke go through a lot of these characters and straight have battles and while also trying to rescue his kids. It was so much fun and it excites me still to this day. It's such a fun story.
I think that's great.
Jess, can I interject with one quick thing?
Please, yes.
We did not talk about this. I don't think we have this book prepared. Unfortunately, I sold my copy of it. But talking about New 52, I can't believe I didn't mention this. One of my all-time favorite runs from this era does not have an omnibus yet. I don't know if you can see it. Did you check out this Batman Dark Knight series? I don't know if you could see it. It's the David Finch
Oh,
I loved this. It was a 4-volume run.
Oh, yeah.
Going up against Clayface and Mad Hatter, and I just thought that run. I don't know. It's probably just the David Finch art throughout it, but it was one of the most beautiful Batman books. No one talks about it. It's never gotten an Omni, and I almost completely forgot. Like I loved that run. Oh man,
I forgot about that book.
Right?
I'm not gonna sit here and lie.
I feel like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that came out in standard hardcover, right? Not even
Hardcover, yeah, and paperback too at some point. But I have all 4 of the standard hardcovers, and I think I sold them when I was trying to downsize at one point. I've regretted it ever since. I'm kind of hoping we get a small Omni with them, but anyway,
yeah,
it like just popped into my brain. I was like, oh, I loved that run.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you remembered. Let's see. I think one of the ones I've read this so long ago, I can't even remember what it was about. Except, whoa, I forgot how good this art was. Diogenes Neves. Okay, Demon Knights. This art is insanely good.
Yes, it's a beast. Put it on full screen, Jess. For you. I gotta see this up close. The art is so good.
Yeah, and the writing and story was really solid. And I haven't heard anybody say a bad thing about this book. We sort of lament the fact that it didn't sell more and didn't get more trade paperbacks. It's only 3 trades for the full story. But this was really good Etrigan stuff with Jason Blood, Madame Xanadu, Mystic Lover of both Jason and Vandal Savage, Aljabar, Mysterious Inventor from a Foreign Land, Exo Ristos. I don't remember that person, but the Shining Knight was in it. And yeah, I'm reading from the back because I don't remember it. I read it so long ago, but I have good memories of this thing. Well, I have a good feeling about this book because I just remembered that it was such sharp art and such a good story by Paul Cornell, and the art was great. So there were. Go ahead.
my soft pitch for it, in case no one's heard of this book, is that it's kind of like if you've enjoyed Justice League Dark, but you set it in medieval times, and it's definitely like a high fantasy kind of genre. But very, like, if you like the darker edge and pockets of the DC universe, I think for fans of Justice League Dark, and if you also like high fantasy sword and sorcery kind of stuff, it's set like medieval times was my recollection of that. And I thought it was neat. I read, I think, the first 2 volumes of that one. But yeah, the art was awesome too.
Good. Thank you for rescuing me from not knowing how to sell it. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, if you like this, you might like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Do we, since you said that, do we want to talk about Justice League Dark from New 52? That's the only book that I think ever since Hellblazer at number 300 ended. This Justice League Dark and Justice League Dark Rebirth. I feel like the only ones until Cy Spurrier started writing Hellblazer. New 52 and Rebirth Constantine just couldn't hit the mark of what Constantine was like. But Justice League Dark did in both incarnations. That looks great. And they had great characters in it. Zatanna and oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it has quite some imagery in here.
But Zatanna, Deadman,
that's right.
Yeah, I love him.
Black Orchid in this too, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
so sick. That's one thing about New 52. There was some artists during this era.
Okay, Shade was in it. Oh yeah, Black Orchid. Okay. Oh, and Frankenstein.
I like that all of our honorable mentions are like the darker pockets of
the like the It's true. Yeah, it's true. And this cover, I love this cover.
Yeah, I was frustrated with Constantine in New 52. I'm like, this isn't
this
what
is
he's
the closest
like.
we can get to Vertigo Constantine. This is the closest we can get during this era.
Yeah. Same with Rebirth. And now Cy Spurrier's writing him great, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Just a dark, good, just a dark showdown. I'll say it like that without spoiling anything. It's so much fun. I love the way these guys team up with each other. It's nice to see these different genre of characters throughout the DC universe. It shows, especially through New 52, why they're all needed. I don't know if that makes sense, but I even love how even Tom Taylor showed them off in Injustice. It was like, okay, we have the tactical characters over here, we have the dark fantasy characters over here, or like all that. It just showed how each branch is needed. That way they can all come together when this one big enemy comes. I like that, especially from here. So I did not expect to like that much. I love that stuff.
Oh, good. That's
because I'm like Dom. I'm not a heavy horror person, but I feel like I'm lying because now I have Hellblazer on my shelf and this. But yeah, it's so good. I learn a lot from dark stories, so I love it.
I think horror and crime are my 2 biggest genres for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's see. Has anybody? Whoops. This is getting an omnibus, All-Star Western by Palmiotti and Justin Gray. And Palmiotti. This, I feel like Jonah Hex kind of leaned into the supernatural aspect of his. I feel like he was introduced in Weird Western Tales, and he sort of had a supernatural kind of edge to him, and his foes sometimes were supernatural, and so I and then the series that preceded this was called Jonah Hex by the same guys, Palmiotti and Gray.
Yeah, I can't wait to
And
revisit this stuff.
there's this is what we're saying that we say about all of these books is it has really great art.
Mm-hmm.
And this had, I feel like, 8 volumes, not quite as many as Jonah Hex did. But
Yeah.
All-Star Western was some really, really classically good Jonah Hex, and I'm really excited that they are making an omnibus of this. And Palmiotti says, anybody that brings me the omnibus of this at a con, I will do a remark in that. And a remark is a drawing, not just a profile pic. Well, he might consider a profile pic a remark, but yeah, if you take the All-Star Western book to him at a con, he will draw you a really cool drawing in your book.
Gonna have to find him now.
I'm gonna have to look. I've only heard good things about that run. I just missed out on it. And that's another thing about the New 52 is that there were so many titles. Like they launched with a bunch, and then I remember there were a couple that I think they went like 6 to 8 issues, canceled, and then they released a bunch of more titles to try out. So I just felt like there was such a glut of, like there's stuff we're not even going to get to today. Like I think there was a Resurrection Man book.
Yeah.
There was a Static Shock book. There was
Sure was. Did not last long.
Nuclear Man. Wait, was there Nuclear or Captain Atom or something at one point got one?
I think so.
There's literally so many titles from this period, and they just had a couple
Cyborg too
releasing new stuff that I'm still finding out things I never even checked out.
Yeah.
The Western, for example, I just missed the boat on that.
I always thought, I may be wrong, I always thought they released 52 titles.
I think they did to start, like it. But then there was like another wave. Like I said, I think there were a couple titles that I think weren't selling as well that went like 6 to 8 issues, canceled, and then they released more. So I think you're right. I think there was 52, which even that is crazy. Like 52 new issue ones. And that's what I mean. Like you were all of a sudden like, at the comic shop being like, what do I want to try? I want to try this, this, and this. And then, and like I said, they had these waves of releases after some books would get canceled and they just bring in a whole nother row. And it was just, it was exciting. I mean, it was cool just to be, if there was ever a character I was curious about, or for me, it was honestly something like I, Vampire, where I'm like, I don't even know what this is, but the art looks cool. I'm going to just grab it, and that's how I ended up finding some of these books, especially as a newer reader. Like, obviously, I'm looking for Batman. I'm looking for Superman, but like I, Vampire, I'm like, this is DC. What is this? The art's cool. I got to check it out.
I'm not. I told you about this Gotham Academy, and it was in 2014, 2015. So maybe this is one of those third wave of titles. I felt like it was New 52. I feel like everything was. Oh wait, Convergence was in the middle of that. I didn't read any of that. DCU. I think I read the Black Canary books, and that was it. Okay, so this may, as great as Gotham Academy is, this may be around the time Convergence and or DCU, spelled YOU, those things lasted about 6 months, I feel like. But wherever Gotham Academy ended up, it's still worth reading. It's like Scooby-Doo meets Harry Potter, but Harry Potter's Batman.
That's such a great way of putting it.
And the stories are just really fun. And well, Dom, you'll have to read this ahead of time to see if I'm right, but I feel like it's almost an all ages book. There's no, swearing. There's no real bloody deaths or anything. There are monsters and stuff. It's kind of like it's kind of like a lighter school of what Wednesday goes to in the Netflix show.
Yeah.
So I think see this is totally Scooby-Doo. It says it's a fake. Ah, yeah. If only those meddling kids hadn't found me out, I'd have gotten away with it.
This series made me laugh so much.
I just haven't pulled the trigger on. This stream is gonna be bad for my budget. I can just tell already. This All-Star Western. I'm sure we're gonna hit on stuff where I'm like, oh no.
Oh my god.
Well, I think you wanted Dom to talk about Batman Superman, which I also enjoyed.
Yeah. So, okay, a couple caveats for me here. I should confess that while I love the New 52, there are a big slew of books that I've done the whole run. I've done all of it. I've read it all, loved it. But there's a lot of New 52 that, as a college student, I was buying a couple trade paperbacks or standard hardcovers to check out, but I maybe didn't finish a whole run. And this book here, Batman Superman, is an example of this for me. I love this book, this volume 1. We have art from Jay Lee, who is one of my favorites. Whenever they pull that guy out, I know he does a ton of covers, but especially interior art, I feel spoiled. I first saw his stuff in the Dark Tower comics over at Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
And ever since that, I've just been a huge fan. Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4 with him and Grant Morrison. And then this book here with Greg Pak, I love it. The art, first of all, just completely absorbed me. There's, it is a Batman Superman book, and the art really frames the comparison between Superman and Batman. You got a lot of light imagery for Superman, of course, and a lot of dark imagery for Batman. And the way that Jay Lee realizes it across this book is just phenomenal. The story in this first volume, I always felt to be rather complete as well. Like, I know there are subsequent volumes, but you could read this volume 1 and get a complete arc. And it's a really good Superman-Batman story. It's a really good them trying to work out their issues kind of thing. And yeah, it just really worked for me. I loved, like I said, the art was probably the biggest selling point, but I think the writing was really strong. Even just look at those panel layouts. It's so like cinematic and kind of widescreen presentation. I just felt like it was immersive, larger than life. And for whatever reason, this is another run that I never hear people talk about it, but I think about this book all the time. All the time I think about this book. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about it in the honorable mention. So thank you, Jess, for finding your copy. Mine's buried somewhere. I gotta find it.
I was really happy when you brought it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love this story. I love the relationship between Batman and Superman, and seeing them, how they try to figure out ways to solve issues together. I just love their stories together. They're just perfect.
And I loved just the fact Superman, Wonder Woman.
Underrated.
Yeah, first of all, as usual, the art was great, but it made sense to me that they were the two most powerful people on Earth, and that they'd fall in love.
That's a powerhouse couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, let me highlight myself. I don't. The stories are great. Things happen. Blah blah blah. But they fall in love, and it's crazy great that I'm like, whoa! They just skipped Lois altogether in this series. It's the Amazon and the Kryptonian. They fall in love. Whoa, that's so cool. And it makes so much sense.
Yeah, we definitely got shades of that as well in Jeff Johns' Justice League run during this time. I know
yes, we did. Yes. Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, Charles Soule wrote this. I forgot.
How many volumes did that get, Jess?
52, man.
I feel like maybe 6. I can go check. 4 or 6. Just like Batman Superman. I feel like it was 4 or 6.
Okay. That's one of the titles I would love to revisit one of these days. I remember liking that series.
Do you guys want to? Why don't you guys talk about another book? Do you have?
I do. I have right here. Let me.
And I'll go look to see how many books each one of those was.
Yeah. Okay. I have Animal Man right here by Jeff Lemire.
Oh.
I did not want to leave this out. Yeah, I did not want to leave this out. This is. And have you read this, Dom? You read this, haven't you?
I have read a majority of this. So this is another example of I had a bunch of the paperbacks. I never quite finished it, but especially now that I've read all of the Swamp Thing run, I really want to get this run. I love Jeff.
Yeah,
The art. This is another run that's really like body horror kind of.
it is.
But yeah, I mean, for fans of Jeff Lemire, he really doesn't pull punches in this run.
Yeah, I love the tone in the story, the character development, the emotional beats of it, following Buddy Baker and his family. It has a whole lot of heart in here than I expected. Now, I know we all praise Grant Morrison's as the best. I agree. However, Jeff Lemire brought this darker interpretation and also tying it in with one of your picks, Dom, as
Yeah.
well, especially with the rot in this story. I loved it. It's such a great, like, look at this. Like, there's so much story just in this image alone, but it's such a great story. It has so much heart. I love Buddy Baker, man. He is underrated. Definitely underrated.
Was this the first time we had ever seen the rot? That it was that Lemire thought it up, or had the rot appeared before in like Swamp Thing? Because that was the first time I recall seeing the rot.
I want to say it was mine. I
Yeah.
can't necessarily answer if it was like the whole
that, but I don't know.
But they
Yeah.
come together though later on.
Yeah.
They crossed over.
That was
Yeah.
my first experience with it. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
actually a note probably for New 52 as well. And obviously, a lot of other eras do this, but I actually think New 52 more successfully than a lot of other eras I see. They did really good with crossovers. I felt like.
Yes,
Like,
I
for
agree.
example, we're talking about Rot World, which was a big Animal Man and Swamp Thing crossover.
Mhm.
But even things like, you know, I know there was the whole like Trinity War with the Pandora and Phantom Stranger and was it Spectre and Justice League. I know they did stuff with Justice League and Justice League Dark. I know Justice League and Aquaman had like Thrones of Atlantis.
Yeah,
There
they
was
did. Yeah.
really cool like braiding in and out of each other, which I liked. Or even how they handled, like for example, Batman had so many books
Yeah.
at this time, but I love the way that there was this level of continuity where you could read something going on at the tail end of Morrison's maybe Batman Incorporated, and it would profoundly affect, you know, Snyder's Batman, and then Tomasi and Gleason's Batman and Robin, or like I really felt like there was a cohesion and it was all happening in the same universe. And again, I think that DC and Marvel and stuff, they do a good job with that in general, but I think with New 52 in particular, I felt like there was a great emphasis on how well everything just kind of like connected. You know, I felt like it was really cohesive with a lot of that, you know, and I loved some of these little crossovers. Like Rot World was a great example.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to add on to what he was saying, I think that's what made this era that much more exciting. Like when I was reading this, when I see Swamp Thing show up, the little 5-year-old in me was like, Swamp Thing, you know, like, oh, you're excited to see the character again, right? You're like, oh my God, he's in this book. Hi! You know, it was exciting, you know. So I love seeing other characters cross over sometimes.
And as a newer reader, this is my classic example of their marketing or whatever they're doing here. It suckered me into being like, okay, I guess I have to read these other titles. I guess I gotta, you know, for me it wasn't single issues though. My tie-ins were like whole paperbacks or standard hardcovers. Like, I guess I gotta read that now. I gotta see what happened or why this guy's here or whatever. So I guess good work, DC. You got my dollar bills, you know.
Same here.
I feel like I acknowledge all the ones you guys said, and I feel like Batman also had two or three crossovers within the Bat family books.
Yeah.
The first one I feel like was Death of the Family. Death of the Family.
You have Court of Owls or Night of the Owls, I guess. I don't know if you count that, but
Night of the Owls, yeah. That darn, I have those books. Okay, Night of the Owls, Endgame, and 0 Hour, and Death in the Family. So 4. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm. That sounds, yeah.
I have it on good authority from Bat Cato because I bought all 4 of those books that are that really flesh out Snyder's run. But Bat Cato had me get, there was Batman Endgame, Joker Endgame, Joker Death in the Family, and then DC's 0 Hour.
maybe Zero
And
Year, possibly. Isn't Zero
Zero,
Hour?
Zero Year. I'm sorry.
Zero
Not
Hour is
Zero Hour.
time, right?
Zero Hour is unreadable. Sorry, I don't like that. Zero Year. You're correct. Thank you. So he sent me a whole reading order for it and stuff. And they're not expensive books. I like $6 to $10 a piece for these chunky hardcovers, standard hardcovers, but still. And you don't need to read them. You can still read the Snyder and Capullo Omnis without that. But if you read those books, I just feel like it gives you a fuller appreciation of what's going on in that run.
That's my only bigger complaint with a lot of DC Omnis. And I probably like, I know I'm on a DC stream. I love DC, but I am more of a Marvel man, just unapologetically. And I feel like DC versus Marvel Omnis, one thing I will say is I think Marvel does a little bit better with like context and tie-ins, or even like descriptive paragraphs between issues if they aren't included, versus DC. I'll have books that, like I'm going into Batman and Robin's Omnibus, right, with Tomasi and Gleason, and maybe you have that spoiler banner real quick, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Just a sec.
Big spoiler for New 52 era. If you like Damian Wayne, he dies for a minute, right? And for example, you're reading that Batman and Robin Omnibus, and unless you have read the stuff in Batman Incorporated or the Morrison Omnis, you literally go from one issue when Damian's there hanging out, and the next issue, everyone is just in mourning. And you kind of are filling in the gaps as to what happened. And I feel like if it was a Marvel omnibus or even some DC omnibuses, you'll have a paragraph at least describing it, or panels from, like, materials from an issue describing it. And I feel like sometimes with that, I'm a little like, oh, so collections like what you're talking about with like Joker Endgame, I appreciate that tries to grab some of these tie-ins to give you a fuller context of some of these stories, because I think that's like maybe my one drawback with the Snyder Capullo Omnis, which I love, are just some of those other little details or bits.
Well, DC's still doing it, because I just came out with a video a couple weeks ago
That's right, about the
Tiny Onion's Batman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have to read Joker War Saga with it. Or because, okay, spoilers.
You might as well keep it up for a minute.
I'll name names here. Go watch my video and you'll see that I don't spoil it. But Harley Quinn gets her throat slashed by Punchline in the Batman by Tomasi. I'm sorry, Batman by Tiny Onion. And then next issue, she's back. She's better. And I'm like, wait a sec. I want to know how Harley gets back, because she has a huge scar there. And in Joker War Saga, it explains it. It gives, and the video I made was because it's still being marketed by some online retailers as having all those issues in the omnibus. Well, they're not actually in there. They're in the Joker War Saga. So if you go check out my video, but you need that Joker War Saga to follow some kind of coherent, cohesive run. I understand that they're not all by Tinian in that book, Joker War Saga. Harley Quinn's not by him, but that's where you see that she heals up. Oh, sorry. Spoilers.
That's why I say you might as well keep it on for a minute.
That's where you find out how she healed and got back into the Joker War in Batman. And there's 2 or 3 other things that I named that you need that book for. So they're still kind of doing that. And in their defense, they did put out Joker War Saga. Yeah. You can read them together, and you couldn't really put it in a Batman by Tiny Onion omnibus. If you just wanted to say Batman, you could, but that's not how they're doing it. They're doing Batman by King, Batman by Tiny Onion, Batman by Rom V, whatever, or Detected by Rom V.
Yeah.
So I get what happened, but somewhere that there occurred a miscommunication, so that everything in Joker War Saga was included in the description for Tiny Onion's Batman. I'm guessing it came from DC, so that people were buying it thinking that they got the complete story, but they didn't. So they are still doing that, but I understand because of the naming thing, they're doing that now way more than ever, I think.
I would just love, as a consumer of this, I'm not as much of a purist for the run as much as I am the service of the story, so I'm like, man, give me, I think I joked about this in our message, but I'm like, man, give us the Batman by Tiny and Super Duper edition, and just give us the added, or by Tiny with an asterisk, like
I'm Tiny and Friends.
Yeah.
Like, I'm this close. I don't know. I think I'm this close. The way they map the Jeff Johns Green Lantern compendiums, I think what they're calling it again. I guess it's Green Lantern Rebirth Compendium or something like that.
Oh,
the way
what happens in the beginning of his run, Rebirth.
Yeah, and I think how they map those, like, I love that era so much that I want every single issue, and they leave nothing behind in that new compendium.
Wow.
And I am this close to trying not to double dip, because I was satisfied, kind of, just a little bit, with all three of Green Lanterns by Jeff Johns. But I'm like, there's some stuff in here that I want, including like Ion and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted all that kind of stuff in there, and they starting to put a lot of that stuff in there. So I'm the same way, and I'm trying so hard, y'all. I'm trying.
I've been this where there'll be like a single issue, because there's times where I buy these like trade paperbacks or standard hardcovers, and every so often they'll have an issue that's just not in the omnibus. Like this happened to me with the Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo Nightwing omnibus recently.
Yeah.
In the Nightwing Fear State from Tom Taylor, the second hardcover, they threw in like a bonus Christmas issue that I don't think was from those creators, that they just threw in there, and I really liked it. It's not in the omnibus, and I'm like, oh, like it's not a big deal. It's not even, I think, by these creators. It had no bearing on the story. I don't even think it was coming out around the same time, but I like that issue. And when I upgraded, I was like, oh, I don't see it here. Like, it's not worth picking up the Fear State hardcover again, but I'm a little like, oh, I want to have my cake and eat it too. I just want, I want the Omni, and I want it loaded with just everything.
Everything, yeah.
Yes, everything.
And these new DC collected editions, I don't know what's in the water, but they are kicking some tail. They're killing it.
Crazy this year. The best
yes,
I've
they
seen.
Are.
Maybe, I think in a single year, 2025, and what I'm seeing so far for 2026, I think it's the best single slate of omnibuses from DC I've seen on like an annual level in
ever.
Maybe ever. Yeah, that I know of. Which
my
is awesome.
Poor wallet. Poor wallet.
Budget and sell and do all this stuff. But.
My poor wallet.
Let me just name 3 others that we enjoyed, and we can get into our top 5. I liked Batman 1 through 3, but 4 and 5 were written by Palmiotti and
Batwing.
Gray. Batwing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
by Palmiotti and Gray, and that's where I thought this book really took off. The horror vibe that Dom was talking about. I feel like Voodoo's only 2 trades, but it was really good. It had really gorgeous art, and then Voodoo is a half Damonite alien hybrid on the run from shadowy government agent, blah 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 blah. She's really cool in this. So it's just it's really great with great art. And then Frankenstein Agent of Shade, which I think has already been released. There are only 2 volumes of this, I think. But I feel like James Gunn had something to do with having this book be reissued with other Frankenstein stuff. So this is also cool.
Because of like Creature Commandos, probably.
It might be with Frankenstein in there, yeah.
He actually liked quite a bit of New 52 titles too.
He did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, we should have him on the show.
Next time.
Next time, exactly. Why don't we start with our number 5 pick from New 52, our top 5? Okay. Dom, why don't you lead us off?
Okay, great. I'm not sure if I did this in order. My 5th pick is actually a book I no longer have in my collection. I'm not sure if one of you guys was able to get Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang. Yeah, I was telling Day, I think before we went live here, that I had the 6 standard hardcovers. I loved them. I sold them in my mind to upgrade to the Omnibus. Oh, we got an absolute too, and I haven't quite closed the deal on getting that Omni, so I don't have it in my collection. But I loved this run. This was actually.
Do you want to show pics of this Omni while Dom talks, Day?
Oh, it's much deserved in what you're showing it in. It's because it's so beautiful. I'm jealous in a way.
Great story with great art.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
Look at that. Oh my God.
Oh, that absolutely.
Yeah, Cliff Chiang's art is crazy good.
So this was my introduction to this artist, actually. After this, I read some of his art with Paper Girls from Image, and I really love Catwoman Lonely City, which he wrote and illustrated. So if you like this art style and you haven't checked out those, I have enjoyed what I've read of them. But yeah, for me, this was actually a weird example of, I think I read the first couple issues when it was like coming out, but then I didn't read this run until I think after I started my YouTube channel just a couple of years ago. But I tracked down the rest of the run in those standard hardcovers, and I couldn't put this down. I thought it was amazing. They re-rolled kind of Wonder Woman's origin story, and it's I don't want to spoil too much, but they changed kind of her background, and a lot of this was trying to help a young woman who I think was pregnant or just had a child, and she's basically just gets ensnared in this kind of Olympian family drama, and she's trying to kind of help this young mom, and the art is incredible. You get to see sort of the pantheon of Greek, deities or figures, and yeah, just the art is amazing. I felt like it was pretty offbeat as well. Azzarello is not a writer I follow extensively. I've checked out some of the stuff. A lot of it's a bit too dark for me, but this I found to be really accessible. It was kind of lighter overall, and I thought it was really engaging. I liked this too because I just felt like I didn't have to know a lot about Wonder Woman. And this is actually the only Wonder Woman run I have read to completion that's a solo run. I've started a lot of others. I've really enjoyed a lot of what I've read, but this is the only one I've read beginning to end. And yeah, definitely recommend it. It was a high bar for me. And like I said, it was one I completed only a couple years ago. So it had been out a while, but yeah, really, really beautiful stuff. That absolute is crazy.
Beautiful.
It was my number 5 pick also.
Oh,
yay! Awesome.
Okay. David,
and he did I don't want to add real quick before I show mine. He did a really good job of showcasing the warrior side of Wonder Woman. Oh my God. She was so strong in that run. I love his voice for her in that run.
Yeah. It's something that I don't think had ever been done before.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. All right. So mine, I am going to do the Green Lantern Corps New 52, which is collected in the Peter J. Tomasi Green Lantern Corps Volume 2 Omnibus. And look at this, the Brotherhood. Yeah. I like this right here. But this run that it's basically continuing. I know a lot of characters had a reboot in the New 52, and but this story basically was continuing, especially the stuff after Blackest Night. And what I love what Peter Tomasi and Jeff Johns, a lot of these guys was able to do is they really showed off the brotherhood of the Green Lantern Corps so much. This felt more like a Guy Gardner book, but I love being able to spend so much time with these guys and really just fall in love with every single one of these characters. One thing I love about the writing here is also you're able to breathe with the characters, spend time with them. That way, when these big events come up in here, like Wrath of the Green Lanterns or other big story arcs come up, you're able to feel the emotion behind the story. And it's so good. I love spending time with these characters. I love the Lanterns. Yeah, so good.
So sick. Look at that art.
Mm-hmm. Like, look at the colors. It pops. And it makes you laugh, too. It really does make you laugh, too, especially with Guy Gardner. I love it. It's so much fun.
The way I read Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps, because I had them custom bound, the Green Lantern Corps books back in 2016 or 17. So I have 4 volumes, and now you have the real volumes. I don't know if anybody's insane enough besides me to do it, but I had Green Lantern by Jeff Johns and the Green Lantern Corps open on a table because they fit so well together after a certain point.
Yes.
And it's really fun to read a couple issues of Green Lantern and then have the sort of fleshing it out a little more in Green Lantern Corps.
Mm-hmm.
If you're insane like me and that appeals to you, it's a great way to read them.
I totally agree. Even when they cross over and have storylines cross over, I am just in love, man. It's like this big old family that you just fall in love with. And there's some issues that I know I love those issues that are like slow, like not, how do I say it? Not slow, but you're actually, seeing them spend time with each other at a dinner table or something like that, or just actually see them clown around. Like it really allows you to fall in love with each character. Same thing with Jeff Johns. Hal Jordan Green Lantern. It's just so much fun how they allow you to just allow the story to just breathe. That's my biggest praise for both books, but especially that.
Nice.
Love that.
Let's see. We're on pick number 4 for you, Dom.
Okay. I'm not sure if this is the order I presented it in, but we're gonna go for it for this for now. My number 4.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna pick Grayson, the Super Spy Omnibus. Tim Seeley, Tom King, Mikkel Janin. I think we're calling this a New 52 title because this leads right into the Nightwing Rebirth era. So this is like the tail end of New 52, I guess. But I really, awesome. Okay, so I really love this. This takes place also directly after the Nightwing Prince of Gotham omnibus, in case you picked that up recently. What I really liked about this is another one that I only had the pleasure of reading in the last year or two. It's one I had heard about. I'm a huge fan of like the James Bond franchise, the movies and the books, and even some of the comics here. I like that kind of espionage, super spy genre or subgenre. And I had heard that this existed. Basically, it's Dick Grayson as a James Bond-like spy. He's trying to infiltrate a kind of corrupt like spy organization, basically. And he's doing that initially at the behest of Batman, and he ultimately gets kind of just caught in this ever-growing web of, politics and drama and trying to stop supervillainy. I love this book because I think it's a cool way to explore Dick Grayson outside of his tights. Like I was really curious to see how I felt reading this, thinking, is this still going to feel like Dick Grayson, even though he's not Nightwing, he's not Robin, he's not Batman, he's just Dick Grayson. And I think that was one of the most impressive things to me about it was he feels very pitch perfect to me in my reading. He feels pitch perfect Dick Grayson, but you get to see him stretch so far beyond his element. You get to see where his line is for corruption, values, integrity, and just what lengths he's willing to go to and why. And I really loved it. There was some cool cross-pollination with some of the characters from like Authority as well. Like Midnighter is like a secondary supporting character.
Right.
And his appearances in this book are awesome. The art from Janin throughout is just stellar. It's absolutely incredible. I'll show it one more time, but I mean, just the art in this collection is just crazy. It's just so good. Yeah, I really liked it. Why I think it's also really cool is you can read it just kind of self-contained, and just enjoy a fun spy story. It's all collected in this omnibus. And yeah, it's another one that was like Wonder Woman. I read it within the last couple of years, and I'm like, I can't believe I missed it the first time. And I think if you get DC fatigue just doing superhero story after superhero story, it's a nice one that's out of genre, or at least enough that you feel like you're in the sandbox but out of the box, kind of, So, yeah.
If I remember correctly, before that book, his secret identity got revealed.
Spoilers.
Oh,
We're so
sorry. Okay. So his secret identity gets revealed. So he has to go undercover with Spiral. And the only way he stays undercover is like he has these implants in his eyes, right?
Yes.
That kind of blur his face, which I thought was really cool, because that was the only way he could do anything. I forget what they did to correct it. They killed him or something, or said he was dead. I can't remember how they corrected it, but how they resolved it was cool. But how they led into Grayson, and I agree, Grayson is just a great book. Really well written. Is it Tom King and Tim Seeley?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And another thing I liked, was it Tim Seeley? No, it was Tom King that said it. Is it true? I think he said it in the introduction that he was part of the CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes that book even more pop, even more. And the book is just screaming James Bond to me.
100%.
Yeah.
All I hear is James Bond when I look. There's a particular scene. I don't know if you can find it, Dom. It's a full splash page, and he puts on, I think, this blue suit, and he says this one-liner. I can't remember what the one-liner was, but I said, "Okay, Dick, you are definitely James Bond at this point." Yeah, I can't remember, but it was a full splash page, and he's like holding like a watch or something, but he has this clean suit on, big old splash page, and he says this one-liner, and I'm like, oh my God, he is so James Bond.
Nice.
I don't know if I can find that splash page, JJ, but absolutely agree with you.
No worries. Maybe I'll find it before the end of this.
There you
go. Okay, and great pick. I love Grayson. What's your number 4 pick, Day Day?
I am going to go with The Flash by Francis Manapul and Brian Buccellato.
Yeah, this is some of the best art in the new 52.
Yes. This was, and this is the look at this. This is awesome. Look at this.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. And what I like about this run, and Flash is my favorite hero from DC, I loved how it really, even without reading a single thing, the art speaks on its own. Like sometimes you don't even have to read a single page. You can just look exactly what Flash is doing, and you just get a lot out of the art alone. And it's just following Barry Allen on his adventures. His rogues gallery is in here, and look at this. This is insane.
Is that Gorilla Grodd? Or who is that?
Yeah, this is Gorilla Grodd.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I love it. It gets a little bit dark too, which I love, but I love the inner struggles of Barry Allen. Love of following the adventures, him and his cast and crew. The rogues are definitely in here. It's such a good book, but the art is definitely the strongest point, and it's such a fun book. I enjoyed this. It's very underrated. Oh, look at this. See, you don't even have to read a single word. The art speaks on its own. It's so good. Definitely a great interpretation.
I know for me, like with Flash books, I like one of the things, I'm sure you guys like this too, with Flash books, and I'm a Flash fan for sure. I always love to see how the artists depict that sense of motion and that sense of kinetic movement and battle and fighting. And because it's such a prominent aspect of the character, obviously it's really baked in. And I really loved how Manapul and team did it in New 52. There was sometimes this like abstract feel to it, or the way it kind of pushed and broke traditional panel layouts. It just felt very quick, but like choreographed in this way that it's just a real standout. I really, even just seeing your omnibus, I'm like, oh man, I need to.
Yeah, I know.
I got to show this too. Every issue has this, but the way Francis shows the way the artist. Hold on, who's the artist again? Yeah, it's Francis. But anyway, the way he shows off the Flash title in every single issue, it's done in a creative way.
Whoa.
Each time in each issue. Y'all see his name going across. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's incredible.
But that's in every single issue. But it's so much fun. The art, I feels like sometimes tells more of the stories in the script. So,
yeah. All right.
Francis Manapul, if you've never read it, him and Scott Snyder did a series called Clear. It was a Comixology original, but Dark Horse released a paperback. Highly recommend it. It's like a neo-noir crime kind of book. Snyder's writing, Manipul's on art, and his art, I like it even better in Clear than in Flash, and that was surprising to me. High recommend.
Okay, thank you. Clear.
Yep.
I better put comic book or else I'm going to look at it and go, what the hell is Clear?
Yes, book, great story, great like neo-noir, but yeah, art for Manipul, gorgeous.
Good. That's great.
Who's the writer again?
Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder.
My number 4 pick is split into 2 by the writers. The art is amazing all the way through, but the first 4 trades were by Peter Milligan. Then the second 4 trades were by Charles Soule, and that's Red Lantern, which is another book that I had made into a custom bound with my own with trades. But I was happy to get this because it was oversized with this incredible art. Wait, who's the artist? Ed Bennis. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, look at Dexter. Hi, Dexter. I love Dexter. Show him.
Yeah, look at that.
They chose that for the wraparound on the book as well, and I'm so glad they did.
That was a fun wraparound cover.
Yes, it was. Look.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
So this is Atrocitus, I believe. Isn't that Atrocitus?
Yes, that's Atrocitus.
Yeah, that's Atrocitus. And the Red Lanterns are fueled by rage. And the Red Lanterns, and there's so many cool, interesting Red Lanterns. Like right there, you can't see it, but her wings are nothing but bone at this point. That's Bleeze. And then these other Red Lanterns, they use their rage to get justice throughout the galaxy. And I enjoyed Peter Milligan's half of the book, but I will agree that Charles Soule's second half really is the meat and bones of this run, so to speak. Because my favorite part, Dom was suggesting crossovers, and I don't know how much of an actual crossover it is. It does bounce back and forth between Supergirl, because not only, okay, spoilers, I don't think it matters. Guy Gardner's a Red Lantern, and it's the best Guy Gardner's ever been written, I think, by Charles Soule. And then Supergirl becomes a Red Lantern. Something happens to her, and she becomes adrift in space and has amnesia. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Bleeze gorks up flame and blood and stuff, like acidic blood.
So sick.
It's one of my favorite statues, that Bleeze. And so that's what's really cool to me is when they brought in Supergirl. There's so much that goes on with Smalt, where the Red Lanterns are based is Smalt, and there's the Manhunters are reintroduced and used, Rise of the Third Army, and you deal with all matter of moral crises and things that you may not agree with, but they feel their rage. Oh yeah, here it is right here. Nice.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
love that. I'm glad DC chose that.
Yeah, that was clutch on their part. And they band together with the Green Lanterns, I believe, when this guy shows up to suck all the light of the Green Lantern universe. Oh yeah, the whole emotional spectrum shows up. Excuse me while I read this book. There's the White Lantern. And let me just find the. Oh yeah, okay, cool. Here's Supergirl soaking in blood after she's initiated. So she's into
yes.
it. Let me see if I can find. I mean, she takes to it very easily because she has a lot of rage built up in her, even though she can't remember who she is just yet. She has okay, she does meet up again with Kal-El and remembers things here, but at first when she's found, she has amnesia. And the Red Lanterns are just so interesting and so fun with all their adventures, and you can see it's a thick book. It's half a cat face book. So
the new measurement for omnibuses, it's half a cat face.
So and just their adventures are well written and well drawn. Well written and well drawn, their adventures, but not only well written but engaging, and it draws you in and it makes you want to read the next issue. The whole book is like that. It's written well enough that you see consequences, but you're also moved enough to want to see how a story ends and keep going through the next issue and the next issue. And Red Lanterns is just super great. And am I sending you, Day my custom bound?
Yep, you said you were. Yeah.
Okay, I definitely will. And
I will say, I'm reading Red Lanterns for the first time right now, and I'm also really happy with, and I can say this for most of the New 52, I feel like it's pretty easy on new readers. Like, I don't really feel like you need to know a lot about, well, not even Red Lanterns, but I don't even think you need to know that much about the Green Lanterns to enjoy this. Like, I think they do a pretty good job of looping you in for the details you need to know. I mean, I think if you're aware of the Green Lantern Corps, that would help. And there's certainly some little payoffs and stuff, but I think for people that maybe see this like online, you know, it's out right now, it's in print, and you might be wondering like, how much do I need to read or know? Like, I honestly think if this sounds good to you, you probably won't be that alienated just reading it as a solo title, which I was kind of impressed by. At least that's my impression of it so far. Maybe a quarter or a third into it so far.
Well, that's a good judging spot. You're a quarter of the way into it, and you haven't felt lost or anything, and think that it holds your interest. So and it's kind of eases you into the universe. So that's good to know.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, at least. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that book exists. I'm so glad, and I will put it out in the universe. I would love to explore more stories within those different emotional spectrum of lanterns. I would love to see more of that. That would be so cool. I think that there is one on Yellow Lanterns, aren't they? Well, kind of with Sinestro.
There's a Larfleeze that has 2 trades that are way out of print. There's a Sinestro.
Yeah, Sinestro.
Cullen Bunn that has 4 trades out, I think.
There you go.
But I haven't seen anything with the purple or blue or although there Venditti's run does include I think the White Lantern and emotional spectrum, but I I don't think we've gotten a dedicated book to what's Carol Ferris again? She's a
Sapphire or something.
Sapphire. Okay, yeah. We haven't seen a solo of her or the blues, the Hope ones, or the white one. Well, there's just one white one.
Indigo Tribe.
Indigo. Okay. Is that what are they the Hope ones? Is that what I'm saying?
Blue, and then
I thought Hope was blue.
Yeah, there's a blue and an indigo.
Oh,
I mix them up sometimes. I think blue is Hope. I don't know what Indigo Tribe is supposed to. I can't remember the emotion.
I can't remember
either.
I used to remember them all. Some of them I forget now.
Yeah, there. Yeah, I think that's one of Jeff Johns' greatest contribution to comics is creating that emotional spectrum and expanding on it. When I first heard about that in like 2008 or 9, I was like, that can't be right. That's not my Green Lantern. Well, what? By God, there's only yellow and green. How dare you? And maybe Sapphire. And then I read it and I'm like, oh, I'm super wrong. This is awesome. I think they got introduced in Green Lantern 25 by Jeff Johns. I was super happy with it.
That's might be the happiest I've ever been with a Green Lantern title. Like that part, like, you know, like the second omnibus of John's run ish. That was like, I mean, I like the stuff before and after it, but that to me was like the peak. I was like the most invested, the most like just
yeah,
real winner there. I loved it.
So Page Turner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about book 3 in our top 5?
Book 3. Okay. My third and second choice are going to be close. I'm going to do this for a bit more variety for right now. I'm going to talk about Swamp Thing.
Ooh, awesome.
New Omnibus. That cool little new spine. This omnibus collects 2 runs that are back-to-back, comprising all of Swamp Thing stuff in the New 52 for his solo title. We have a run written by Scott Snyder and a run by Charles Soule. And this book really feels like 2 separate books that we just get sandwiched into an omnibus that's at least half a cat face. I mean, it's a nice big book. I love this. This was a title. I've kind of always been a fan of Swamp Thing since I first read the Alan Moore run, like, you know, probably back in college as well. But when I saw he was getting a title in New 52, and, you know, I was reading Snyder's Batman, and I immediately became a huge fan of that. I saw he was doing Swamp Thing. I'm like, I gotta check it out. And I'll say, the first half of the run to me has always felt like it's leaning into the genres of like body horror, blockbuster action thriller. Basically, Snyder has this big event. Him and Jeff Lemire on Animal Man, they have this big shared event that everything funnels into called Rot World. And it's basically like the forces of the red for Animal Man, the kind of like, you know, animal avatar people. And then the forces of the green with Swamp Thing are teaming up to take on the Rot, which is like this force of black death, like counter force in the world. And everything with those runs and the early parts of them kind of funnel into this event. And Snyder's run culminates with that on Swamp Thing. And then after Rot World, we basically have a changing of the guard to the back half of the run with Charles Soule. And what I liked about this omnibus is that you get a lot of variety. But I actually preferred Soule's run on Swamp Thing because it transitions the genre into something closer, resembling something like dark fantasy. And I think that for me, it felt a bit closer to some of the stuff I'd read in like Moore's run or even like Len Wein's early stuff. Like it had more of that kind of feel to me. The adventures, while there were larger story arcs, there was this feeling of more episodic kind of nature. Like versus Snyder's, I felt like it was, you know, pedal to the metal. We're going into this one massive like blockbuster, gritty body horror adventure. I felt like Soule's run really took its time. It tried to add things like with like how they navigated with the Parliament of Trees and Swamp Things and histories of Swamp Things. And it was a really, really awesome run. And I feel like when it was coming out, probably because Snyder's run was earlier on, I was only hearing about Snyder. I was only hearing about Rot World. And it wasn't until I got the omnibus that I was even aware of Soule's run. I wasn't following it. I stopped around Rot World and reading it in the Omni. I'm so happy I, you know, finally finished it out. I thought it was awesome. you also get a lot of. I'll show this one more time. You get a
Okay.
lot of variety of art. So in Snyder's run, the art's a lot like this. I don't know the
Yeah.
artist, unfortunately, but
Look at the framing. It's
yeah,
so
really beautiful framing, ornate layouts. And then the art for the back half of the run is really great, but very stylistically different. But I loved both. And again, you span different creative teams, different subgenres, but you are all following this incredible character. I think this omnibus itself is fantastic. You feel like you get so much bang for your buck. So yeah, easily in my top 5.
Nice.
so awesome. Such an awesome. I think Dom said it all. I can't say nothing after that. That was so well said.
Yeah, it was.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you
totally.
nailed that thing. Yeah, I can't come after that.
Did you have it in your top 5, Day Day?
I was going to, but once I saw his list, I was like, perfect. It's not going to be left out.
Okay, so do you have a number 3 pick, or was Swamp Thing
Yes.
your number 3 pick? Okay.
Yeah, so I replaced it with this Aquaman by Jeff
Oh,
Johns.
okay.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't want this to be left out. I was like, please
Right.
somebody get Swamp Thing. But Aquaman by Jeff Johns. I love this stuff. This was my first time reading Aquaman, actually. And then I got Peter David's trades later on. But this is a reintroduction to Aquaman, him and his supporting cast, and being reintroduced. Oh, I gotta flex this.
Wow, look at that.
Mm.
Being reintroduced to him and his supporting cast, and learning about what makes him tick, and him. Jeff Johns really does talk about how people pick on him as today in reality. Oh, he's just a character that just talks to fish, and Jeff Johns was like, you know what? Hold my beer. Let me get the pen. Let me show you. Let me show you real quick what this character can do. And I think he makes Aquaman relatable in this book. You can actually relate to his feelings and this man who's separated from two worlds, from sea and from land. And it's such a wonderful book. It really emotionally resonated with me because he really just wants to help people. And yes, but also he's one of those characters that people underestimate, even the Justice League as well. There's a story in here, I believe it's in Throne of Atlantis, where Aquaman steps up to did you put the spoiler thing up? I'm sorry.
Okay. Yep, I forgot it. There we go.
Where I believe it was Throne of Atlantis or another, I could be wrong, but Aquaman steps up to Superman, you mess with my kingdom, and it's over. Like, you know what I'm saying? Aquaman, he's such a BA character, and I really relate to him a lot. And Jeff Johns, he's just really good at making these B and C list characters. Look at that. Good God Almighty. Ivan Reyes art right here is incredible. But he's so good at making B and C list characters really rise up to the top.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Let me show one more image in here. There's one. There's a story in here called The Trench that I love as well.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And the movie definitely took notes from this run as well. So it's such a great run. The movie, I will say though, it took Peter David's Aquaman look, but adapted these stories into the movie. But yeah, it's such a great run. I love it. You could definitely relate to this character a lot. And I think Jeff Johns just did a great job with that.
We were spoiled with artists in the New 50. I mean, we still
we were
incredible. I mean, some of my favorite comic book artists are still like up and coming, but man, New 52, I feel like that's been such a consistent thing we've said is look at this art, look at this art, look at this art.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I just noticed one of Day Day's picks has Nicola Scott on art. I'm not ready to show it yet, but because Day Day hasn't said anything, but yeah, Nicola Scott.
Oh, wow. Let me show this, Jess. I couldn't leave this out. Oh, I gotta show you this. This is awesome.
Is this Aquaman still?
Yeah, this is Aquaman still. Okay. Ivan Reyes is crazy.
Oh, whoa.
Look at that. Wow.
Like, look how tiny he is compared to this big old monster underwater.
We need to finally pick up the Omni for this one.
Yeah, definitely.
More budget.
Oh, yeah. So
Nice.
good. So good.
I think. Let's see. Wait, we're on number 3, right? I have to come up with number 3.
Mhm.
I think for real, this is where I have Batman by Snyder and Capullo. I think Dom has the. Do you have the book?
I do. Yeah, I have both.
Okay.
Omnis. Let's see.
Yeah, it's 2 Omnis. Greg Capullo wrote. I'm sorry, drew spectacularly throughout the entire run. And hey, Day Day.
Hi.
Yeah, but I mean, Capullo's art. I wasn't familiar with him before this, but I know people that read Image Comics and stuff were, and maybe some of the other creator-owned titles, maybe Top Cow or something. So I didn't know him, but wow, I got to know him quickly, and that's the first thing that stands out is how great his art is. And the second thing that stands out, of course, is the Court of Owls story that starts. Court of Owls starts it, right? That's the first story. Yeah, that's a new concept. That is a completely new concept that Scott Snyder came up with that seamlessly worked its way into Gotham's history and made complete sense. And it was unique. It was gripping. It was terrifying. It was really a scary opponent, but a scary thing for Batman to realize that. Whoops, spoilers, I guess. But who hasn't known the Court of Owls? That they were literally under his city this whole time.
Yeah.
That it's just crazy great comics, and I'll try not to spoil anything else. I will say Death of the Family was great. Endgame was great. And as we said, Zero Year. But I'm not one that didn't like after Endgame, and it looks like Joker and Batman are both out of the picture. I didn't hate who takes over as Batman. I know people feel like maybe that's where it started to tail off, but I was like, this is a cool thought. I'm willing to go with this. And I enjoyed the entire run. And I had no problem. I think that part was called Super Heavy, and it was fine with me. I really enjoyed the entire thing. And it was I mean, I've been reading Batman forever, not since his inception in Detective 27, but I'm not quite that old. But that was the freshest take on Batman and his world and the Bat family and the Joker. The Joker is incredibly ramped up, evil, sick, mentally disturbed, but still able to. This is what I think is so good and tricky about the Joker. He's an insane murderer, serial killer, but he's also not insane. He has the awareness and the wherewithal to plot things out and to relate to other people when he needs to, and then he goes back into his personality, which I think makes him doubly scary because he just doesn't go around, screaming all the time or hiding underground. He's like out there mingling with everybody, trying to fit in sometimes to further his cause. And this is where he got super murdery under Scott Snyder, in my opinion. And that's really, I think Scott Snyder did a great job with this.
I totally agree. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I might just add a quick thing with this too, because this was my number one pick, but I think since
Okay.
this probably makes the most sense. I agree with like everything you said. I think for me, the Court of Owls was such an electrifying intro. I think this might have been the first New 52 title I read, and so the fact that we were coming out the gate with Court of Owls is to this day one of my favorite Batman stories. Like yourself, I wasn't familiar with Capullo. This is what put Scott Snyder on the map for me. I hadn't read Black Mirror yet. I hadn't read Gates of Gotham or any of the other stuff he'd done before this. So this was my introduction to both of these creators, and I was just gobsmacked when I read Court of Owls. I think
Good word.
Thank you. I think for me, this was, I would say, the most important villain introduction for Batman for me since Bane. I really felt like they all spoke to the wheel. It affected like the entire Bat family. You know, there's obviously some connective tissue with like Dick Grayson, for example. I just loved it. And then one of the things I wanted to address, I'm a fan of even the back half. I know you touched on it. I think a lot of people talk about the fact that, I mean, and I think that they're right. I think the best arcs for Snyder's Batman are things like Court of Owls, Death of the Family, 0 Year, Endgame. And Endgame might be in volume 2. Either way, I think that there's a point post Endgame where a lot of people dropped off because there's a transition where you don't have Bruce Wayne Batman, minor spoilers. You have like a Robo-Bat. I won't go into the identity of Robo-Bat, but a lot of people didn't like that direction. But I honestly thought it worked, and it worked for Snyder's world. I thought that it worked visually, and honestly, I really felt like it was these creators taking some big chances. And I think for the most part, it paid off. I think that they really successfully landed the plane. And so I think for people that maybe have only read the like 2 or 3 best story arcs for Snyder Capullo's Batman and you enjoyed it, I would recommend sticking out the rest of the run. I still think it's worth the read. I think it's worth the time. If you get the omnibus, you also get Batman Last Night on Earth, which is
I just read
utopian future story. Is it canon? Debatable, but I'm here for it. I thought that's another really big polarizing Bat story, but I loved it. I thought it was incredible.
And I will say, especially about that first omnibus, I enjoyed how Snyder kind of gave tribute to kind of like the golden age Batman in a way. Like if you Greg Capullo as well. Like if you look under that dust jacket of the first omnibus, that image is a homage to Detective Comics number 27, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Way back when. Yeah. At first I was thrown off by that image, but I was like, wait, I recognize that image. Then I did my research. Yeah, that was a tribute. And a lot of the stories, it felt like a tribute to Batman's lineage as a whole. So I enjoyed that about Snyder's run as well. Also showing also what Batman can do, especially in that second half where put the spoiler thing up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some good spoilers here.
Especially in that second half where Batman was just flexing in that robot and beats the crap out of Justice League. I was like, oh wow, okay, you want to flex him like that? Okay, get him his own Hulkbuster and smash everybody. That's very nice.
That scene when they bring Bruce Wayne back as Batman, like in the last one as well, I thought that was so metal. I loved how they handled that and how they got him back in the suit. I thought it was so sick.
Yeah. His run gave me goosebumps a lot, especially in Court of Owls. So,
Dom, do you have to go right now?
You know, I took an offline chat with my upper management, and I have about 20 minutes.
So, wow. We're almost there. We're almost there.
20 minutes.
I saw the writing on the wall, and so I addressed that offline. We're good. I have till, yes.
Nice. We're almost there. We're almost there.
I couldn't even tell you were talking to your upper management. Nicely done.
Yep.
So this is pick number 2?
Yes. This is 2 for me. I just shared my number 1 as well with Batman. But number 2, I'm going to give it to Nightwing, Prince of God. I have to admit a couple things. Quality-wise, is this number 2? Is it better than my lower choices? I don't know. I will say why I have it here in the listing. I just love this run. This is my first Nightwing run. Before this, I'd read obviously him as Robin, and I read some of the George Perez and Marv Wolfman Teen Titans, of course, you know, when he graduates to Nightwing. But this was my first proper like solo Nightwing run I was reading. I am a fan of the blue and blue and black costume, of course, that he most notably has.
Look at that. Look at that. That's right there was my favorite panel right there, Dom. Oh, look at that.
Yep. This introduces the black and red costume. He's wearing that the whole run. But I love it. You have a lot of art from Eddie Barrows, who just does some incredible stuff. But this run, this omnibus rather, was long out of print. I missed my opportunity to get it the first time. I had some of the standard hardcover. No, I think these were trades. I had this trade paperbacks for a lot of these, and this was a run that I was hooked on it. I read and collected the first 2 or 3 paperbacks, and I never read the back half of the run. This run was collected across 5 trade paperbacks. I missed out on the omnibus. I was not going to pay $200 for it. And so when I heard DC was reprinting it this last year, it shot to near the top of my to purchase, to save for. And when it dropped, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to read it. I honestly just started from the beginning because it had been enough years since I read some of the earlier issues. To sell people on it, like a lot of these other New 52 titles, it is so accessible to new readers. You really don't need to read any other Nightwing book to feel like you understand what's going on. Although I do recommend some of these other Nightwing runs are awesome. Like Tom Taylor's is great. Reading the Chuck Dixon run in those compendiums for the first time, phenomenal. I'm loving it. I'm even reading the Rebirth stuff, which I'm liking, from Tim Seeley. But yeah, this run, great for new readers. We go into Dick Grayson's past in a way that I'm always kind of wary when writers are trying to add things to the past or into the kind of framework of a character that's so long established. Like, we referred to it in the Batman stuff with the Court of Owls. Like, you're adding something into the foundation of Gotham and its history. Is this going to work? And I feel like Nightwing did that as well. We go back to Haley's circus. We go back to his childhood in the Flying Graysons. But I felt like overall it was done in a way that I don't feel like they were pigeonholing every 2 seconds to try to just be gimmicky, because you're in those spaces for long enough that you got to breathe. You know, I don't know if Day said this offline or in there. One of my favorite things in comics, especially as a collected edition collector, in the midst of all the action and chaos, I like when they have an issue or a couple scenes where you kind of just get to breathe with the characters. And I feel like this run did a great job at that. I got to know Dick Grayson better. You get to see him bumping shoulders with Barbara Gordon and Batman here and there as well. You have some tie-ins to things like Court of Owls and Death of the Family. But he's just doing his own stuff, you know, and halfway through the run, we get some shifts for him where he goes to a new city. I don't want to spoil that too much, but really kept me on my toes. The art from Eddie Barrows was great. And for me personally, why it was so high on the list, it was my first Nightwing run, and I never had the opportunity to fit it until recently. So, yeah, just kind of like a dream collected edition for me. And, yeah, I stand behind it. Reading it all, I was stoked, and it leads right into that Grayson Super Spy Omnibus, which leads directly into the Nightwing Rebirth Omnibus, all of which came out or reprinted kind of recently. So try to get them while they're all in print. You can have an unbroken solo Dick Grayson run for a good stretch. But yeah, that's my number 2 pick.
Nice.
Yeah, that's such a nice. That's an underrated gem, in my opinion, from the New 52.
I missed the black and blue, but other than that, this was.
Yeah, very, very underrated. Kyle Higgins was doing his thing. I think it was very underrated. That's for sure.
That's the other thing. I forgot to mention Kyle Higgins. People are like rushing to him after his stuff with like Power Rangers and Radiant Black and the Massive Verse. Like, he was doing this stuff in New 52 before I feel like he reached the heights he is now. And so people, there's a whole new generation of fans that might only know him from Radiant Black or Power Rangers, or I think they have him on a Batman book now, maybe. Anyway, all I know is, like, man, go back and check it out. He's already swinging hard, and it's a solid run.
It was so good. And Eddie Barrows did that artwork, right? Yeah, that was solid.
Great splash pages, 2-page spreads, the action, just really well choreographed, I thought.
I totally agree. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have your number 3? Number 2 pick, Dede?
Yes. We can pull out that book. You have it on the other side. Earth 2. Yep, Earth 2.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah. I picked James Robinson's first book and Tom Taylor's first book.
Yes.
But the artist is the same. This is the one with Nicole Scott art.
I was going to say, who's the artist again? Okay, I thought it was Scott. Okay. Yeah, that was.
I had to hear about it.
I love this book. Was such a bang. It was it's the definition of a blockbuster. And if we could put the spoiler thing up, because I can't explain how what's happening in this book without spoiling anything. It's just what happens in the beginning. We lose the Trinity at the beginning of this book, right? But then you have Alan Scott, who's Green Lantern in this book. You have not Jay Garrett. You have Hawk Girl show up. Yeah, Jay Garrett shows up in this book. What am I saying? Jay Garrett. And you have just this new generation of characters coming to take over, and because Darkseid and Apocalypse and all them are showing up in crew. But that's basically it. It's just showing the basic concept is showing the old timers taking a step back, and you're showing this underrated B and C list characters taking over. And Earth 2 is just a different Earth from our prime Earth where our main superheroes are. And it's just such a fun book. James Robinson, and when Tom Taylor comes in, it adds just this deep, thick, emotional layer. It's such a bomb-tastic book. And backstories, of course, on these characters as well. It's so much fun. I love this book, man. Man, what an epic blockbuster this is. And the way he even introduces each one of these characters, it feels so big. I don't know if I'm being dramatic when I'm talking about this book that way. It just feels huge from battle to emotional core to emotional core. It's so good. And it's so underrated. I can't wait for that omnibus next year.
That was a surprise, super surprising, but well-deserved omnibus.
Yes.
I feel like everybody sort of forgot about this, but
yeah,
what they're making an omnibus is such a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really pleased that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, what'd you say, Dom? I'm sorry.
I have to finally check it out. That was a title I missed,
Yeah. But like I said, with a lot of the other titles I chose too, the fact that these underrated characters are getting to shine in here. That's the main thing that I love. Instead of the same old characters, a lot of these guys get to shine. I love it.
I feel this is a book that I collected, but I haven't read. Wasn't World's Finest set on this Earth, and it was like Power Girl and or something?
Yeah, they had their own separate. It's technically connected, but they're on our prime Earth. They're from Earth 2.
They're in our Earth 1. Okay.
Yeah, they're on our main Earth with their title.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then this run continues. I think World's End. Wait, not World's. It was another 2 titles or something like that continues on. It was 2 other titles. I forget their names, but
that Earth 2 keeps going in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm
gonna look that up.
Okay.
But yeah, it's such a it definitely continues on in the series.
My number 2 pick. Did we all pick this or just Dom and me?
This is my number 1 right here.
Okay. Dom, did you pick this or just me and Day Day?
I'm actually still reading through all of that run.
That's right.
Because I wanted my 5 picks to be ones I completed 100%. But I love what I've read of this run.
Okay. Well, I won't hog the entire spotlight. I'm a good sharer, so I will share with Day Day.
Okay.
But this, I feel, okay, so this is Justice League, and it's 2 thick omnis.
Yeah.
I feel like this
big old monsters.
Wait, let me find this part. Okay. This is the embodiment of what New 52 should have been, where it opens with Batman. Let me put myself up. And this
I know where you're going.
This isn't a spoiler. This is to entice you to read this. But Green Lantern and Batman are sort of fighting both without knowing that each other are fighting these creatures. And then all of a sudden, Green Lantern meets Batman and says, "You're real?" And he says, "And you're too bright." So it's like the first time they actually meet. And it was the first time you got like Green Lantern's incredulity whatever word. He was incredulous that there was a real Batman, and because Batman was like a myth until he showed up in front of Hal Jordan. So the first, I don't know, 11 issues are by Jim Lee. So after you finish those first ones, you should be pretty hooked on because the rest of the art the whole way through is, well, I get it, nobody's as great as Jim Lee, but the art is quite good the whole way through. Oh, look at Aquaman.
Look at that Aquaman.
He's
Jesus.
a sexy beast.
Yeah.
So these are really excellent stories by, shocker, Jeff Johns, who can't seem to write a bad book if he was paid to do that.
Well,
these are in the Justice League is, Cyborg, Flash, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. So like the classic lineup, and they take since it's two, this is almost a full cat face, how thick this is. And it's just every story, it does have, let's see, Crime Syndicate shows up. I
feel like everybody shows up.
Yeah. Crime Syndicate shows up. They are in I think near the end of the run.
Forever Evil.
Forever Evil. It has the Crime Syndicates showing up. And I feel like near the end of book 2 is where they merge with the New Gods, and Batman gets Metron's chair.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler.
Yeah, it's to entice him to watch it.
I get it. Dark Side War.
Okay, Dark Side War. Yep. Yeah, that's its own separate omnibus and everything.
So sorry, Dom. I'm sorry.
You're fine. I know enough.
Spoiler for Dom. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
But I love the concept. It's like Jeff Johns took the toys out of the toy box and say, "Hey, I have this idea that is so awesome. In Dark Side War, how about we make I got goosebumps, see? How about we make each of the Justice League gods? How can we do that? Wait, how'd it go, Jesse? Shazam, I think, was the god of light.
I remember Flash was the Black Racer.
Yep, Black Racer. Batman was in the chair. Oh my God, everybody. And Lex, I don't know how Lex even got as far as he did with what he did. Jesus.
Yeah, Lex is quite a chunk of this book.
Yes, he is. Oh man.
Don't you just feel like Jeff Johns is like Atlas holding all of DC's continuity on his back sometimes? Like,
at times, yes.
Yeah. This and all the crisis events he was a part of and stuff, like the stuff he's able to pull in and braid together to me is crazy sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. He is amazing. I don't know that I found anything yet of his that I dislike.
I totally agree.
He has the perfect batting average for me as a comic book fan, actually, because I feel the same way. He's actually my go-to example for, I think, the comic creator that I have never disliked one of the things I've read from him. I've maybe not loved it as much as some of his other stuff.
Yeah.
A handful of his titles are in my Mount Rushmore of best stuff of all time. I didn't put it in my list because I wasn't sure because it breaks across into New 52, but that run on Green Lantern by Jeff Johns is one of my number one superhero runs of all time. And I know that did in New 52, but man, just incredible. Or his run on Flash. I loved his run on Flash.
Oh my God, I love that run.
What he's doing at Ghost Machine is also really great.
Oh, right now, yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree. It's the thing about Jeff Johns, he has such an emotional core with his writing. Anybody that he touches, he tries to elevate, but you also become a fan of them because of the emotional balance that he puts in each one of those characters. Like I noticed anytime he does a big event, he always tries to find a underrated character to elevate. Like we know about, like in Justice League, you really see how he pushes Batman and Superman to the side a little bit, Wonder Woman too, to elevate like Shazam or Aquaman, or there's just so many other characters, and just really get to showcase a lot of the DC universe. I like that he's one of those writers that's not afraid to do that.
Yeah. He was part of the brain trust for 52 as well, and that whole series was about just these B and C list heroes and villains just taking all the limelight, and that thing was riveting.
Yeah. Oh man,
I wish 52. Every book started out like JL did, with a Hal being surprised that Batman's real, and Batman complaining, your light's too bright. We're trying to hide in the shadows here, guy. What are you doing?
Are you real?
Yeah.
When they put that in the movie, I had goosebumps. I'm so glad they put that in the movie, the animated movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great.
I like in one of the animated movies too. It's just like, wait, is he just a guy in a bat suit?
Yeah. Oh man, I love it.
Well, do you want to get to talk about your number one, Dom? Since I already sort of hogged it, but you can certainly talk about it.
Yeah, and that was my number one, by the way.
Oh, this is your number one too?
Justice League. I'm sorry.
Oh, Justice League was. What was your number two?
Mine was Aquaman.
Oh, and you already talked about it. Okay.
Oh no, it was Earth 2. I'm sorry, Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Aquaman was 3. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. So we just have you and me then, Dom.
Just this for me. I'm not going to touch too much on it because we already have. But number one, easily Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I think we already talked about it extensively. But for me, the atmosphere that those creators were able to do, it's been said by people before me and will after me. But I think that they really treated Gotham like a living, breathing character. You are so immersed in that city. Like literally, I think the whole run starts with like a monologue about Gotham itself, and you feel that throughout the run completely. You feel that sense of space in that, and then everything that you build on top of that setting, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, starting with the Court of Owls, ending where they did, and just the breadth of storytelling we got. I just think it was something really unique. Like I said, I think it was like lightning in a bottle, especially that front half, but both of it I love, and it turned me on to both of these creators, really helped me just build my roots into DC. Like this was, like I said, I think my first New 52 title. I was hooked. I wanted to read more, and it's just been off to the races since then, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
My New 52 number one is the book that made me fall in love with my favorite character, and that is Harley Quinn. This started out the New 52 for me. It's got a remarkable premise and remarkable and characters. The premise is the Harley Quinn, as you know her, has broken up with the Joker, wants to find her own life. She either, I remember loving this cover. I can't remember offhand if she inherits the Coney Island apartment building or if she just buys it. But either way, she ends up with a Coney Island apartment building with a wax museum in the basement, and everything just gets crazier and crazier from there. She has her hyenas. She's got a burnt stuffed mounted beaver that she talks to. She's into animal rescue. She starts rescuing other people and getting them to come to her. She's apartment building, so they have a poop launcher on top of the building. I forget what that's for, but you can also launch people in it. And Palmiotti and Connor do an amazing job of making her extremely likable and easy to root for. She is apartment builder during the day in her kind of her regular costume like this. In the morning. In the afternoon, she is her Harleen Quinzel, her a psychiatrist, and then at night she's in roller derby, and there's a whole roller derby string going through here. Here's where Cyborg gets introduced, and you can remember him from the Harley Quinn animated series, which is so great. But it just goes everywhere, and it's chaos, but it's fun and easy to read, and it's very much in continuity, which is one thing that Jimmy Palmiotti told me it in sort of code at Heroes Con, that's what their run does that the other runs haven't, is that they have a continuity. So there are 3 omnibuses of these. They're all out of print. 3 and 2 are especially out of print, but I feel strongly that all 3 will get reprinted. And she can eat 50 hot dogs and 10 ice creams, and she shows up with Power Girl at some point and Poison Ivy, and it's really great art. But she is just so fun that this is where I fell in love with her and wanted more of her. She was so engaging and so fun, and it was so creatively written. This is sort of where this is where I fell in love with her. And I read even the bad books of her. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but there's some runs that suck. And I still read them because it's Harley Quinn. I'm insane that way, but this is the book that started it all for me in New 52. And it's going to be a problem if this gets released with a New 52 logo here. I'm going to have to rebuy it. So that's my number 1.
I totally agree with Jess. That run made me a bigger fan of Harley as well. And it had me laughing so hard, like to the point my stomach started hurting, because there were so many parts that made me laugh. And the personality that I think she really captured the voice of Harley very, very well.
Yeah, I agree. And I was familiar only with Mad Love. I think that was the only experience I had with Harley. I didn't know about Batman the Animated Series, about all that, and that's where she originated. So this was like my first really big intro to her, and then I worked my way back.
Mm-hmm.
But
and I hear her voice in my head when I read it as well. Like like her little squeaky voice. What are you gonna do, Bats? Like I can hear her voice. I can hear her voice in my head. Mr. J.
Yeah, and I am not a Joker fan, so I'm happy she broke up with Mr. J. Fine with me. Good riddance. But I think Dom needs to go, and I think we've talked a lot more than we thought we would, but we had a lot of fun talking about New 52, why we enjoyed it so much, and the books we enjoyed. We left out a couple. I left out Batgirl by Gail Simone, Batman Returns, but it was great. So we each have more we could talk about, but New 52 definitely needs to be explored. And we hope you take some of our suggestions and enjoy them. So thank you, Dom, and thank you, Day Day, for being on today. I had a lot of fun, and that is the point of reading comics, having fun. So
thanks for having me.
Love, you bet.
Thank you, Jess, for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you guys for being here. Oh, I forgot. Here, I can do this.
I can't get
That's
that.
what I have for New 52.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
I will use my song to play us out, and peace and love. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.